They made the decision Lewis Hamilton must now follow Charles Leclerc's car setup. On paper, it may sound like a smart technical move, it may even appear strategic or sensible, but for those who know how Formula One works, that decision says something much deeper. It reveals a quiet shift inside the team, one that doesn't just affect lap times or tire choices, but power, respect, and leadership. When Ferrari's deputy team boss, Jaron D'Ambrosio, confirmed it publicly, he didn't just confirm a setup, he confirmed that Hamilton is being asked to adapt, not the car. At worst, he's being asked to adapt to someone else's style, not his own. This isn't about who's faster this weekend. It's about control. It's about trust. It's about whether a 7-time world champion, who joined the team to lead them into a new era, is now quietly being pushed aside, and the man he's being asked to follow is Charles Leclerc, a talented, emotional, fast, but still title-less driver who has built his home inside the team over many seasons. Leclerc's setup has become the default. His style, his choices, his comfort zone, those are now being seen as the standard. Hamilton's needs, his preferences, and even his years of experience are now being asked to step in line with someone else's design. It all started earlier this season after a difficult beginning for both drivers. At the Japanese Grand Prix, Leclerc made a bold move. He changed his car setup to something more aggressive. It gave the car more rotation into corners, more front-end bite, and a livelier feeling. It was not an easy setup. It made the car nervous and hard to control, but for Leclerc, it brought results. From that moment, he started finishing better. 4 podiums and 8 races followed. Suddenly, in the eyes of the team, his setup wasn't just a personal preference, it became the blueprint. Inside the team garage, this shift changed everything. Leclerc's driving style, which was once just one way of doing things, was now being treated as the best way. As the car remained difficult to handle overall, the engineers began to push his style as the solution. They didn't ask if it would suit other drivers. They just began applying it across the board, and that includes Hamilton. At first, Hamilton resisted. That's not surprising. He's never been the kind of driver who copies what others do. He works methodically. He builds his setups piece by piece. He listens to the car, to the tires, to the track. He doesn't guess. He crafts. But as the weeks passed and the results didn't come, the pressure grew. No podiums, no breakthroughs, only questions. Why isn't Hamilton performing? Why is he struggling with the SF25? And when a team starts asking questions, they often look for fast answers, and in this case, the answer was to point him toward Leclerc's setup. By the time they reached the Austrian Grand Prix, Hamilton admitted he had given in. He said clearly that he was now following Leclerc's setup, not because it worked for him, but because there was no other solution being offered. At that race, he finished 4th. It was his best result in months. But the real story was not the finishing position. The real story was what he had to give up to get there. Behind the scenes, Hamilton had to deal with a car that wore down its tires too quickly. It was unstable when braking. It was sharp in corners, but not in a way that matched Hamilton's style. Because the truth is simple, this car was set up for Leclerc's hands, not Hamilton's. And here lies the problem. Hamilton doesn't drive like Leclerc. He doesn't race with wild energy and fast reflexes. He's calm. He's calculated. He reads a race like a chessboard. His strength is in control, timing, and building pace through clean, stable rhythm. Forcing him to drive with a setup meant for a different personality is not just uncomfortable, it's wrong. And yet, Ferrari is acting like this is the answer. This decision is not just technical. It's personal, because when a team says, follow your teammate's setup, they're saying more than just copy his numbers. They're saying, we trust his path more than yours. They're saying, we're not building for you, we're asking you to fit into someone else's box. And for a driver like Hamilton, who came to Ferrari with dreams of building something new, that message cuts deep. The deputy boss confirmed it clearly. When asked if Hamilton would continue with Leclerc's setup, D'Ambrosio said without hesitation, definitely. That means this is not a trial. This is not a compromise. This is now the team's direction, and the direction is set not by Hamilton, but by Leclerc. For Ferrari, this might feel logical. The car works best with a certain balance, and Leclerc found that balance first. But the hidden meaning is louder than any race result. Ferrari has picked a side. They've chosen which voice gets to shape the car. This isn't just about lap time anymore. It's about who leads and who follows. In F1, the driver whose feedback becomes the car's DNA is the one the team trusts most. His word becomes fact. His preferences become design rules. And now, Ferrari has quietly confirmed that Leclerc is that driver, not Hamilton. There is no press release announcing Leclerc as the team leader, but in setup sheets and engineering briefings, the truth is clear. Hamilton is not the reference anymore. He's the one being asked to catch up, but this is not what he came for. He didn't leave a team he built from scratch just to follow someone else's plan. He came to lead, to rebuild, to drag Ferrari forward with his vision, and now, halfway through the season, that vision is being pushed aside, not openly, not with drama, but silently, through setups, through silence, through decisions made in the background. For most drivers, being asked to copy a teammate is no big deal. It's common, but Hamilton is not most drivers. He spent over a decade at Mercedes not just driving fast, but building a system. He didn't just adapt, he shaped. He turned feedback into results, data into dominance. Now, at Ferrari, that identity is being erased. He's not being asked what kind of car he wants. He's being told what kind of car already exists and asked to fit into it. This isn't about pride. It's about purpose. Hamilton doesn't need special treatment. He needs a car that reflects how he drives. A car that moves with him, not against him. But Ferrari's message is clear. We don't have time for that. Just follow. And that hurts more than any mistake on track, because it shows a team that would rather protect the past than fight for a new future. This shift may seem small to outsiders, but in Formula One, this is everything. The driver who leads the setup direction is the driver whose future is protected. And Hamilton, despite all his titles, is being asked to race in someone else's world. If the results come, the team will say the plan worked. If the results don't come, the blame will not fall on the setup, it will fall on the man who trusted a plan that was never made for him, and that's the real danger. When teams ignore a driver's strengths and then blame him for not performing, it's not bad luck. It's weakness. It's a fear of change. And if Ferrari continues down this path, they may not just lose races, they may lose the very driver who could have transformed them. In the next races, Hungary, Zandvoort, Monza, the truth will come out. These tracks demand balance and adaptability. If the setup works, if Hamilton finds rhythm, maybe this decision will look wise. But if it doesn't, the questions will grow louder. Why wasn't the car built around Hamilton's strengths? Why was he forced to drive like someone else? It's not too late to fix it, but Ferrari must ask themselves a hard question. Are they willing to let Hamilton lead? Or do they only want him to follow? Because if they stay on this path, the story won't be about setups. It'll be about a team that hired a builder and then refused to use the blueprint. Hamilton isn't shouting. He isn't fighting the team in public. He's doing what he always does, watching, learning, adjusting. But he knows what's happening. He knows when a team is shifting around him instead of with him. He's felt it before, and he knows how to respond. The time is coming when this quiet setup choice will turn into something bigger. A moment when Ferrari will either unlock the full power of the driver they hired, or prove they were never ready to change at all, because this isn't about performance anymore. This is about trust. This is about control, and in the world of Formula One, control is everything. If this pattern continues, Hamilton's time at Ferrari may not be remembered for wins and glory. It may be remembered as the moment when a great driver was brought in to lead and then told to sit quietly behind someone else's decisions.